Upgrading your Xbox just got cheaper. This custom Series S is a home run. This Xbox exclusive just got a massive delay. Check out this Starfield controller. What's up guys, and welcome to Xbox Ready, my own little variety show concerning all things Xbox, news, games, rumors, whatever. I talk about all of it and share it with you to make sure that you are Xbox ready. Let's get right into it. I have a bone to pick with Studio Wildcard. They're the studio behind Ark Survival Evolved. It's a survival game like many other games out there, except it has dinosaurs. You can tame dinosaurs, ride them around, fly them around, swim with them, fight with them, make them fight each other. I got into this game back in like 2016-ish. I was watching at the time all my favorite YouTubers and streamers play Rust, and they made it look really fun. Even the terrible parts like the trolling, the griefing, the raiding. The problem was that I didn't have a PC. I was a broke boy back then. I couldn't afford one. But luckily, the early access version of Ark Survival Evolved came to consoles and I was able to play it on my Xbox One. Didn't run great, didn't look great, the user interface was super whack at the time, but I had a ton of fun with it. Lots of highs, lots of lows, mostly lows if I'm being honest, but I put in a lot of hours on it on the expansion Scorched Earth. I put in a lot of time on the Valhalla map. So needless to say, I was very excited for Ark 2, and when I saw it at the Xbox Bethesda Showcase last year, they made the announcement. They were like, all these games are going to be available within the next 12 months. I was like, oh crap, Ark 2 gonna be available 2023? Of course it's 2023. And the reality is far from what they promised at that showcase, at least when it comes to the release dates of these games. And Ark 2 is no exception. Studio Wildcard put out a roadmap for the game, and they were like, ooh, sorry guys, Ark 2 is not coming out in 2023. Actually, we're gonna push it all the way back to the end of 2024. And they were like, yeah, and we're not gonna share any gameplay for the rest of the year, but we'll keep you updated with like assets and little bits of information regarding Ark 2. Of course this game would get delayed. Didn't expect it to get delayed that far, but you know, I guess it works out in my favor a little bit, I guess, because my schedule is pretty packed, guys, with these upcoming games. They go on to say, we know it's disappointing hearing about the delay, but we still have more stuff on the way for Ark fans, specifically a next-gen version of Ark Survival Evolved. This is supposed to launch in August of this year. It's going to be rebranded to Ark Survival Ascended. They're moving the game to Unreal Engine 5, and they're making all sorts of different updates. That's all cool, right? I like a next-gen version of a game, a next-gen update, but then it starts to go off the rails a little bit. So you know how in the past year or two, when it comes to these next-gen updates, these next-gen patches, the studio usually, most of the time, there are some outliers to this, but usually they're like, yeah, you can buy the next-gen version outright if you don't already have a copy, but if you have a copy already, you'll be getting the upgrade for free. Studio Wildcard was like, nah, forget all that. We're gonna make everyone pay $50 for this. They're strongly encouraging people to spend this $50. Some might say outright forcing people, because when they launch Ark Survival Ascended, they are stopping support for Ark Survival Evolved, the last gen version of the game. To be clear, you'll still be able to play the game single player and on non-dedicated and unofficial servers, but other than that, they're just cutting support for the game altogether. So if you're still playing on Xbox One, PS4, if you want to play the most current version of Ark, the one that they're actually supporting, not only will you have to buy a Series X or a PS5, but you're gonna have to buy a copy of the game again, Ark Survival Ascension. And to be clear, this is just like a remaster next-gen update. It's not a remake. It is gonna be mostly the same game, except with a few visual updates. And that's not even taking into account that previous to this, people from Studio Wildcard were like, yep, this Unreal Engine 5 update, it's gonna be free for all existing players. So they're backtracking on that, charging you for it. Now that $50 does come with Ark 2 whenever that comes out, and a month of closed beta before Ark 2 launches. I mean, I guess that's okay, but we know nothing about Ark 2. We haven't seen any gameplay for it, and already they're kind of putting fans in the situation where they're heavily pressuring them to pre-order it, essentially. And they even say in this roadmap, they're like, guys, Ark 2 is gonna be pretty different. It's gonna have Souls-like combat, primitive-only weapons, so we wanted to preserve Ark Survival Evolved, or like make it a next-gen version that will endure for a couple of more years. So there's a chance that if you play Ark 1, that you might not even like Ark 2, and yet you'll still probably have to buy it anyway. And the icing on the cake, guys, is that Even after you buy Ark Survival Ascension, they're gonna make you buy all the DLC over again. So Scorched Earth, Aberration, all that other stuff that you have already paid for, you're gonna have to buy it all over again. And I'm just like, what is going on, man? Are you trying to do a speed run for the most hated studio right now? I already mentioned this, but it flies in the face of what we've kind of become used to in the gaming community. First of all, when the Witcher 3 next gen patch came out, they weren't making you buy the game all over again. They were like, hey, if you already own a copy, you get the upgrade for free. Same with Cyberpunk. Now, to be fair, they're in the same engine, so I kind of get it. They're transitioning Ark to Unreal Engine 5, and I'm sure that takes time, money, resources to do all that stuff and get acquainted to Unreal Engine 5. But something about it just still feels wrong, man. And it also kind of robs Xbox players of one of the coolest things about having an Xbox: smart delivery. When Assassin's Creed Origins got its next gen patch, I went to GameStop, bought an Xbox One copy of the game for like $9, and via smart delivery, it magically became the Series X version. So yeah, you're not gonna be able to do that with an Xbox One copy of Ark. I get trying to make a little bit of extra money, but there should be an option, a free upgrade path, a discounted path for people who have been playing the game, who have put time into the community and building that up and keeping your servers alive. They should have some sort of reward for their loyalty. I don't know, guys. I try not to be a hater. If I don't like something, generally, I just won't talk about it. I like talking about things that make me excited, that I'm looking forward to. And especially Ark 2 is a timed exclusive for Xbox. I know it's not Xbox's fault. They didn't delay Ark 2. They didn't make them come out with this crazy pricing plan. But because of this exclusivity, I just don't want it to come back on them. Next, let's move on to some good news. Since the launch of the Xbox Series X and S, if you wanted to expand your SSD, you only had one option, and that's you had to buy the cards from Seagate. And generally, that has not been a very good time. It's $220 for 1 terabyte, $400 for 2 terabytes. Even if you wanted to just do 512 gigabytes, that's like $140. So when are we gonna get some competition that ultimately drives the prices down? Well, that day may finally be here, ladies and gentlemen, because for a very brief moment on Best Buy's website, a storage card made by Western Digital surfaced. It had 1 terabyte of storage and was priced at $180. Now, when I saw that Wario64 tweeted this out and I clicked the link, the page had already been taken down, but it's been picked up by multiple news outlets already. Now, $180, I know that's not the price we were wanting or the price that we were hoping for, but it is a positive step in the right direction. Like I mentioned, 1 terabyte for the Seagate card is either $220 or $200 depending on where you look. So $180 is already a $20 or $40 discount. And I'm looking right now and there's a sale going on for the Seagate 1 terabyte for $190. So maybe we're already seeing the effects of like, oh, this cheaper card's coming out, let's slash the price just a little bit. Now, there is no news on when this thing's coming out, no news about pre-orders. Hopefully we hear something in the next couple of weeks because like I said, it's high time that we got some options when it comes to expandable storage. In the meantime, I've actually been able to do quite well with just a regular external drive. You can store optimized Series X and S games on an external drive. You can't play them off them, but you can move them back and forth from your Xbox. It's a lot quicker than just like deleting and downloading stuff all the time. And for previous gen games, you can play them right off the drive. So that helps save a lot of storage as well. But I would like the convenience and hopefully a cheaper option of just sticking an SSD memory card in, not worrying about it and playing games directly off of it. Next up, let's talk about Game Pass. Like I always say, it's not an Xbox Ready video unless I talk about Game Pass in some way. I feel like April is going to be a pretty strong month for Game Pass, guys. The Xbox Wire posted about their first batch of games coming to the service in April. Iron Brigade is coming this Thursday. Iron Brigade is like a hybrid mech and tower defense game almost. You basically blow up these crazy looking alien guys with these awesome mechs and stationary defenses. This game launched back in 2011 under the name Trenched. It was published by Xbox Game Studios, and then Double Fine got it back, and they were in charge of the IP for a while, and then Microsoft acquired Double Fine outright. It's been a whole thing, but it's coming to Game Pass this Thursday if you want to check it out. We also got Ghostwire Tokyo coming April 12th. This game was made by Tango Gameworks, so for anyone who played Hi-Fi Rush and you want to check out their other work, this is a great opportunity. Obviously, this game has been out for a year already, but only on PlayStation consoles. That exclusivity is done, and I know it's annoying having to deal with that, but Xbox fans will finally be able to formulate their own opinions on on the game, and they get the best version of the game. You'll get the base game and then the Spider's Web update. Hopefully this is the end of these situations where Xbox Game Studios publishes a game, but it's not on Xbox for a year or so. Looking ahead, we also have Minecraft Legends coming on the 18th. Now at Developer Direct, people were in the chat, they were saying this game is an L, this game is stupid, this game looks like Clash of Clans, and I was like, wait a minute, hold on guys, this game actually looks pretty fun. I wouldn't count it out just yet. And then looking ahead towards the end of the month, we have The Last Case of Benedict Fox. I found this to be one of the more interesting looking games that was shown off in the Xbox Bethesda showcase. It's being billed as a supernatural 2.5D thriller adventure in the style of Metroidvania. And all of that sounds very appealing to me, and to be honest, the look of the game is just, I think, is cool. But like I always say, Game Pass giveth and Game Pass taketh away. In addition to the games that we're getting, we're also losing games starting on the 15th. Now for most of these games, I can live without, especially Rainbow Six Extraction. I'm sorry guys, I tried playing it last year when it came to Game Pass, and I could not get into it, man. I was bored to tears, if I'm being completely honest. Which makes me kind of worried because there are some parts of Redfall that remind me of Rainbow Six Extraction. I'm like, ugh, we'll see. But The Long Dark is leaving, and that snuck up on me. This has been on my play later forever. It's been chilling in my backlog, and I'm like, I'll get to it. And now they're like, it's leaving. I'm like, oh crap, I need to play it, or just buy it before it leaves. Now I get why they're not fighting to keep this on Game Pass. There are a lot of other survival games out there, and a couple on Game Pass. The timing of this is kind of weird because Long Dark just got an update. They support 60 FPS now. I know it doesn't quite achieve that from what I've seen on the Xbox Series X, but at 1080p on the Series S, it stays pretty consistent. And there's apparently this new expansion come to the game that is gonna be ongoing. So it seems like weird timing. I'm a little bummed out, but if you're like me and you wanna check it out and you've been meaning to play it, make sure you use your discount. You get a discount for any game that you buy that's on Game Pass. So make sure you take advantage of that for any games that are leaving this month. I have the list right here, so make sure you play them or buy them before they're gone. There's also been reports that Game Pass is going to lose Quantum Break, which is a little bit strange because that's an Xbox exclusive that came out on the Xbox One. There's no firm date on when it would leave Xbox or Game Pass, but apparently there's some licensing issues going on that Xbox is trying to work out. Next up, let's talk about this new custom Series S. Xbox is back at it again, making consoles that look really cool, but that you cannot buy. They usually give these consoles away as part of a sweepstakes that they run through their Twitter. And I never win, guys. I just never win. It bums me out. This Series S is inspired by MLB The Show. You can see the fan for the Series S right in the middle, but other than that, it looks like a base. It looks to be a little bigger than the standard Series S because it's a perfect square and not a rectangle. It's also looking like this thing is gonna have to stay horizontal, no vertical mode, at least from what I see in the picture. Now, this is funny for a couple of reasons because up until a couple of years ago, MLB The Show was a PlayStation exclusive. Like imagine a bizarro world where, for whatever reason, Gears of War made its way over to PlayStation, and then they made a special edition Gears 6 PS5. Overall, I think this is a lot cooler than the last special edition Series S that I talked about on the channel, the freaking Oreo cookie one. I don't know what was going on with that. If you want your chance to win this one, like I mentioned earlier, go on over to the Xbox Twitter account and follow the instructions on their post. You have until April 25th to do so. If a Series S shaped like sporting equipment is not your thing, we may have some other special edition hardware to look forward to. Idle Sloth on Twitter shared what is allegedly a leaked picture of a special edition Xbox controller. And right off the bat, I like this design. It has a sort of robotic white front plate, and all the buttons have labels that I assume correspond with like space travel, things you would do on a spaceship. You flip it over, it has a red back plate, and what may or may not be rubberized grips, two-tone gray. Overall, I think this controller looks clean, but I have my suspicions about it, guys. First of all, I feel like these pictures are just way too good and curated to be a quote-unquote leak. Like the lighting is amazing. They even propped him up on like the Master Chief controller holder, and then for some reason, Johnny Silverhand's hand from frickin' Cyberpunk. Like someone had a very deliberate photo shoot with this and was like, oops, I accidentally uploaded it. In this Twitter thread, Idle Sloth says that they got a DM saying, no, this is 100% real. This is not fan made. Trust me, bro. But even if it's not real, if it's fan made, whatever, I still think it looks pretty clean, and I would bet good money on the fact that there will be a special edition something alongside the launch of the game in September. Let's be real guys, Starfield has a lot of hype around it. It's definitely Xbox's most anticipated launch. You can even take it a step further and argue that the launch of Starfield might be the most important this entire generation for them. Until of course like the Elder Scrolls 6. With that in mind, I feel pretty confident that they would release a special edition console, Series X, a controller, maybe even an Elite controller like what we saw with Halo Infinite. I mean, they're dedicating an entire show for just Starfield. I feel like if they were gonna do it for any game, they would definitely do it for Starfield. Release special controllers, consoles, go hard on the marketing. We've been waiting for this game for a while, so I feel like the fans especially deserve something cool. Anyways guys, that's all the news I have for today. Thanks so much for joining me. We'll see you in the next video.